Every single year, dozens of brand new cameras enter the marketplace. Some of these devices launch quietly without making much of a splash at all. Other releases create huge waves across the entire photography industry. But right now, one of the most talked about camera systems on the planet does not even officially exist yet. Nikon has not released a single formal announcement about this product. They have not dropped a trailer, posted a teaser image, or confirmed a single specification. Yet, despite this complete silence from the manufacturer, photographers all around the world cannot stop discussing it. The camera in question is widely referred to as the Nikon Z90. For several years now, rumors about this mysterious camera body have been circulating through forum threads, social media groups, and technical blogs. People who shoot wildlife, fast action, and outdoor sports are waiting patiently to see if the rumors are actually true. They are hoping that Nikon is finally preparing to build a true mirrorless flagship for their DX lineup. To really understand why this unannounced device has captured so much attention, you have to look back at the history of digital photography. Many years ago, Nikon released a legendary DSLR camera called the D500. When that camera first hit store shelves, it completely changed what people expected from an APS-C camera body. Before the D500 arrived, smaller sensor cameras were mostly treated as entry-level tools for casual hobbyists. Professional photographers generally avoided smaller sensors because they wanted full-frame performance. But the D500 broke every single rule in the book. It was built like a heavy brick, completely sealed against harsh environmental weather, and packed with an incredible autofocus system. It could shoot continuous action sequences at blisteringly fast speeds without ever overheating or slowing down. For wildlife lovers, birdwatchers, and sports journalists, the D500 quickly became an absolute dream tool. It gave them high-end performance without requiring them to pay huge amounts of money for massive full-frame flagship bodies. Ever since the photography industry shifted away from traditional DSLRs and moved toward modern mirrorless designs, former D500 owners have felt left behind. They have been waiting patiently for Nikon to deliver a mirrorless equivalent that matches the durability, speed, and overall confidence of their older workhorse. The rumored Z90 is the exact camera people hope will finally fill that long empty void. When you look at modern rumors surrounding the Z90, one specific technical feature consistently grabs everyone's attention. Multiple leaks suggest that Nikon might equip this upcoming camera with a brand new 33-megapixel APS-C sensor. A high resolution like 33 megapixels would put the new body in a very unique position within the current market. Many standard crop sensor cameras sit comfortably around 20 or 24 megapixels. Jumping up to 33 megapixels gives photographers a massive amount of extra detail to work with. For someone who photographs wild animals in remote nature reserves, extra resolution is far more than just a marketing gimmick. Animals almost never stand exactly where you want them to stand. Birds stay high up in distant treetops, and dangerous predators keep their distance across open fields. You cannot simply walk closer to your subject without scaring the animal away or putting yourself in danger. Because of these physical limitations, wildlife photographers spend a huge portion of their editing time cropping tightly into their digital images. If you start with a low-resolution image, cropping into a small bird leaves you with a blurry, soft picture that lacks fine detail. But if you begin your edit with a crisp 33-megapixel file, you can crop away huge portions of the surrounding frame while still retaining plenty of sharpness. You can clearly see individual feathers, fine textures, and tiny highlights in the eyes of the animal. This high pixel density means you do not always have to carry the biggest, heaviest, and most expensive telephoto lenses into the field. You can let the high-resolution sensor do a massive portion of the heavy lifting for you. Of course, a massive sensor resolution is completely useless for action photography if the camera itself operates slowly. High-speed action demands extreme hardware performance, and speed is another area where the Z90 rumors sound very promising. Reports indicate that the camera could potentially offer mechanical burst shooting rates of around 15 frames per second. If you are tracking a fast horse jumping over an obstacle or a sports car zooming past a racetrack finish line, 15 individual photos every single second gives you an incredible selection of moments to choose from. You can pick the exact millisecond where the motion looks perfectly timed. However, raw frame rate speed only tells half of the complete story. To actually capture a fast-moving subject, your camera needs an autofocus system that can keep up with rapid movement. In the past, Photographers had to manually shift their autofocus points across the screen using small joysticks while simultaneously trying to follow a moving target. Modern mirrorless technology has completely transformed this entire experience using artificial intelligence and smart subject tracking algorithms. Nikon has already proven how capable their latest autofocus systems are in top-tier full-frame cameras like the Z8 and the flagship Z9. Those high-end professional tools can instantly identify human faces, human eyes, dogs, cats, wild birds, cars, motorbikes, airplanes, and trains. Once the camera locks onto a target, the focus point glues itself to the subject and tracks it effortlessly across the screen. The main hope for the rumored Z90 is that Nikon will take these exact same high-level algorithms and drop them directly into a smaller APS-C body. Imagine setting up your equipment on the edge of a windy wetland area to photograph fast birds in flight. With older camera setups, trying to keep a tiny darting bird in perfect focus against a cluttered background of trees and branches was extremely frustrating. The focus point would constantly jump to the background. This intelligent automation changes everything for outdoor photographers. Instead of constantly fighting with mechanical focus settings and worrying about technical errors, you can focus all of your energy on creative decisions like image framing, lighting, and overall composition. For sports photography, the advantages are just as impressive. You can track a specific basketball player running through a crowded court full of other moving athletes without losing focus mid-play. The camera handles the complex mathematical processing in the background, so you can capture the exact moment of action without stress. Another fundamental advantage that makes an APS-C camera, like the Z90 so appealing, is the natural magnification factor built into the smaller sensor size. When you attach a full-frame telephoto lens to a crop sensor body, the physical boundary of the smaller sensor crops into the center of the image circle. On a standard Nikon DX format body, this creates a 1.5x crop factor relative to full-frame setups. To understand what this means in simple terms, consider using a standard 400mm lens on a DX camera. Because of the crop factor, that same 400mm lens gives you a field of view similar to a massive 600mm lens on a full-frame camera body. It is very important to remember that this crop factor does not physically change the optical glass of your lens into a longer focal length. However, it does cause your subject to fill up a significantly larger portion of your final image. For anyone who shoots sports or wildlife, extra reach is one of the most valuable advantages you can possibly have in the field. Professional full-frame 600mm prime lenses are notoriously large, incredibly heavy to carry around, and cost many thousands of dollars. They require heavy tripods and big backpacks just to transport them from one location to another. By taking advantage of the natural crop factor found on a high-performance DX sensor, you can achieve remarkable telephoto reach using smaller, lighter, and far more affordable lenses. You can pack your entire photography kit into a standard light backpack and spend a full day hiking through rough mountain trails without experiencing severe physical fatigue. Combine that built-in optical reach with a crisp 33-megapixel sensor, 15 frames per second burst performance, and top-tier eye-tracking autofocus, and the theoretical blueprint for the Z90 becomes extraordinarily compelling. It becomes a specialized precision tool built specifically for action shooters who want high performance without unnecessary physical weight. However, hardware power and internal processing speed mean very little if the physical body of the camera is poorly constructed or difficult to use in demanding field environments. One of the primary reasons why the older D500 became such a legendary workhorse was its rock-solid physical build quality. Outdoor photographers do not spend their working lives sitting in comfortable, air-conditioned indoor studios. They spend long hours standing in pouring rain, fighting freezing snowstorms, working on dusty dirt roads, and hiking through hot, humid jungles. They need a tool that can take severe abuse without breaking down in the middle of an important shoot. If Nikon wants the Z90 to truly live up to its rumored status as a flagship DX camera, the physical body design must meet very high professional standards. It cannot feel like a cheap, plasticky consumer camera made for casual vacation pictures. The camera body needs a deep, comfortable hand grip that allows you to hold heavy telephoto lenses securely for long periods without straining your fingers. It requires comprehensive weather-sealing gaskets protecting every single button, dial, seam, and battery compartment door to prevent water droplets and fine sand from reaching the delicate electronics inside. Physical controls and button layouts also play a massive role in day-to-day usability for serious photographers. When you are standing outdoors in freezing temperatures wearing thick winter gloves, tiny touchscreen menus and small, flat buttons are almost impossible to operate effectively. A true flagship body requires large physical control buttons positioned logically where your fingers naturally rest. It needs physical command dials for quick adjustments to shutter speed and aperture, along with a dedicated thumb joystick for instantly moving focus points or navigating quick menus.